Welcome back, everybody, to Oath Esports. My name is Merp. I'm joined by Imperium, and we are about to bring you the first ever match in our Overwatch 2023 spring season. Imperium, how are you doing today, my friend? It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. It's pretty great. Glad to be back. Really excited to see what both teams are ready to bring for our first game this season. Just really looking forward to the match.
Absolutely. Speaking of seasons, Overwatch Season 3 patches just came out literally yesterday, and it spiked up, shuffled around a few things. It really made things interesting, including balance changes for certain heroes. One of my favorites included Reinhardt getting an absolutely massive buff. So, considering all those changes and considering that things are moving around the place, it'll be interesting to see exactly how that breaks down when you compare that to the practice that a lot of our teams have been going through the past couple of weeks.
Absolutely. I was going to bring that up myself. We've seen a lot of changes since we ended last season. We've seen more of a shift away from that kind of the monkey dive compositions where it's just the monkey jumps in, Sojourn looks for picks, both supports just dive on everybody. And now we've shifted to a lot more of like a brawl, almost the complete opposite. We saw for a bit playing Ramatra or Orisa into with kind of complete different DPS lineups and some crazy support lineups. It got really interesting for a bit, but as you mentioned, literally today, I think a lot of that's changes as we see the Ryan introduced probably a bit more, especially with the heavy focus on the brawl. And then the Wrecking Ball changes, I'm really interested to see. I doubt it will pop up today unless someone really wants to play Wrecking Ball, because again, that came out this morning. So they haven't had much time to adjust to that, but could be
Right.
some fun little matchups we see coming out of those changes.
And considering that Wrecking Ball has never been prevalent up until now in Overwatch 2, it'll be interesting to see if they are able to pick that up or if they're just going to default to Reinhardt, who has had a few shining moments. I'm unsure if I mentioned this before. Our first match is going to be Croutons versus Rush. And on Croutons, Gumball is a pretty mean main tank. I don't think we've ever seen K-West 1. I think they might be new. But as far as Gumball, I mean, I remember a stellar Reinhardt, and I remember bringing out the ball every now and again too. So with those bumps in mind, Croutons might be looking really, really, really good on that tank line. All right. I actually just got a little bit of a note for Quest. Um, they are a foundations fill. Foundations being the sort of beginning portion of Oath's entire function of their entire structure. Learning to get into esports, learning to be part of a team, learning to take calls and be more involved into that team effort. So good on them, and welcome to the next step, which would be our main Oath League. So I'm excited to see exactly how Quest, not K West, Quest is going to be filling in here, especially considering that they haven't really gone through those first steps yet, and this is actually one of their big introductions. Um, all that being said, we are heading into Oasis, and I know you mentioned Dive earlier, my friend. Uh, this does turn out to be more dive based composition, especially depending on the map. Uh, However, we could see a little bit of a shakeup. Hog's no longer meta. Hog, for the very longest of times, had this one shot, one kill hook combo that made him an absolute menace on the field. And now that that's no longer the case, I mean, dive. I'm thinking dive coming into this. What about you?
Me personally, I'm gonna lean more towards seeing the Ramatra brought out.
Okay.
Orisa was changed today, or I would definitely lean more towards them being played. But with the Orisa changes, I'm gonna say it's either Ramatra coming out with Gumball on the tank line, maybe might see a Reinhardt, especially with the new buffs. But honestly, it could go either way, like you mentioned. I would be extremely surprised to see a Roadhog. I personally enjoyed when Roadhog was meta. Just seeing him being able to play, the crazy hooks. As a DPS main myself, it got really annoying sometimes, but Roadhog was it was fun, to play, get crazy hooks. But now that's almost impossible. It's not completely unseen, but it's really typically very difficult to get some of those picks that make him worth playing. So probably won't see Roadhog brought out today, however, but I'm gonna lean more towards probably seeing the Ramatra.
Very interesting to me. Ramatra, since he was introduced in Overwatch, got several massive changes. His ultimate is no longer infinite, but he does still have that 20% speed boost when he's in his brawl form, and that was what made him a killer. He would go into that brawl, he would go into that fight, and he would go ahead and smash the backline while he charged it down. We are going to be swinging into our match now of Croutons versus Rush once again as we head into Oasis.
And you mentioned the Ramatra. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Ramatra was an available character the last time we streamed games. Ramatra's kind of a character. He specializes in starting out as like a really small character with a little bit of poke capabilities. He has a little gun that kind of shoots him down, and then he can transform instantly as one of his abilities into just going in and being able to brawl them out. But it looked like we're not seeing Ramatra on either side today, as we see the Orisa on the side of the Croutons, and then the Diva on the side of Rush. What do you think they're going to be looking forward to here?
I like this. It's a very two different takes on exactly how the game should be played. We have on Rush's side a lot of that burst damage. That Pharah Junkrat combo just brings in so much DPS, and there we see it. Penguin goes down immediately as the pharmacy combo from the side of Dragon Gamer goes absolutely wild into the back lines, and already Rush seems to have the upper hand. But no, they get engaged. They get that speed boost in with the Orisa. Biohazard's able to find two on the Lucio, and immediately it has turned the tides. Croutons be swinging around here and actually getting the first capture.
And we see the compositional advantage really coming from the side of the Croutons there. Outside of the pharmacy being run by Dragon Gamer and Barty, like that's a really interesting pick. They're able to spam out a lot of the characters on the side of the Croutons, and we see them consistently getting value here as they're trying to press them off. But the Croutons really doing a good job of playing around the Orisa.
Dragon Gamer absolutely doing incredible with these mechanics, has gotten 3 kills in this fight as the rest of Rush continues trying to push in. Croutons holding on very strong. Gumball is able to keep a hold of everything going on. Dragon Gamer picks off Skynoob once again. Supernova gets Gumball, and that will be the point flip eventually there for the side of Rush, as they just weren't able to take care of that pharmacy combo, which is going to be incredibly deadly as we see throughout the rest of this match.
Rush definitely did a really good job of playing with their strengths there. We saw Supernova on the Junkrat just holding choke, kind of spamming down those corners, just slowly whittling down on the side of the Croutons, getting that damage needed to get those picks to allow them to flip the point there.
And we're going to be seeing a little bit of swap here. Now the Kiriko comes through with the barrage there from Dragon Gamer, finding 3 immediately. Very well placed. Wait for the entire enemy team to engage, as Gumball is going to be taking tons of damage here. Might even go down. Might just barely be able to live. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's it. That's cleanup right there. And Rush will hold on strong. Now they've flipped it over to their lead with 40% and counting on the point capture.
And definitely very powerful usage of the barrage there from Dragon Gamer, especially with the boost by Barty. We see them just waiting patiently for them to get in a spot that lets them jump in. We saw them swing right around, using Far's abilities perfectly to get in a perfect position just to drop that. We see them moving back in to get back in the next fight.
We have another engage here as Quest has the bomb already. He's going to be setting it deep in there. Oh, nice javelin there from the enemy, from the enemy Risa. Going to be actually stopping the bot in his tracks. Not going to let it get in position. It is still able to find one. And once again, Rush will hold on strong as Penguin and Gumball continue trying to take out this pharmacy combo. Mercy and Pharah, just such a strong pairing. Doing an absolutely crazy job at making sure the enemy never has a chance to really get their footing on the ground.
Definitely, we see the Junkrat on both sides is a really interesting pick. Junkrat right now being pretty powerful in terms of being able to hold space and prevent the enemy from being able to take spaces, which on the defense is really powerful.
Oh, very nice barrage once again from Dragon Gamer. He finds 3 and he's able to pop the tire from the Skynoob. That could have been exactly what Croutons was looking for. Resurrection also comes through, is able to pick up Supernova. And the last remnants of Croutons are trying to stay alive on the point. Tire going around to clean up the tank. Gumball does eventually fall, and it's only 1 remaining. We have Biohazard stuck on the inside, ring around the Rosig. Nobody knows he's there. He's eventually caught. He's eventually found out. He did hold on for very long, though. Will any of his team be able to make it back? They just can't fight this Lucio. And Croutons will continue holding on.
Biohazard doing a fantastic job off of buying time for the rest of the croutons to make it there.
As they march in, croutons are going to get deleted by that pharmacy combo as they desperately try to touch the point. Now, 2 supports online for croutons as they're going to be keeping Gumball alive, trying to find any picks they can. Beautiful ultimate there. Can they find the enemy Mercy? Not quite enough. The Dragon Gamer just keeps racking up the damage. That Mercy damage boost doing an absolutely insane job at finding those picks. Eventually, Biohazard is captured, and Rush will capture the first map.
Biohazard really did a great job there of staying alive and just circling the point for as long as possible, just buying as much time as they could. It was a great play there. But we see Dragon Gamer on the far the entire time doing an excellent, excellent job of just raining fire down on the croutons, keeping them from moving where they should, and doing a fantastic job there. What kind of changes do you think that the croutons should make moving in here?
Well, we're already kind of seeing it. We have Guy Noob now over on to the Cassidy, and I think that's really what we were going to be looking for. The homing grenade and the absolutely deadly headshot ability that will be very much needed in order to find that Mercy half of the pharmacy combo to sort of give Croutons relief they need to continue making these pushes.
I definitely
Rush,
agree.
already poking at the enemy. More damage rained from above. They're trying so hard to find Dragon Gamer. He gets down low, but he just continuously has that pocket on him. And even with the Mercy nerfs that have come through, it's just such a strong ability. Penguin does get caught out by Dragon Gamer with a very nice rocket there. Dragon Gamer is also able to find Rust, and that's another one picked off. Once again, Crouton's going to be the first one to pick this one up, but will it be enough to hold on to it? As Guy Noob and Biohazard both looking for any picks they can? No, they're going to disengage, and Rush will be the first one. Will be flipping the point back over the capture.
You see Gumball doing a great job of holding that space, but as soon as they fall and the Rush or the Croutons lose their tank, it's very difficult for the rest of them to push in, especially when Rush has 3 or 4 players and they only have the 2. So definitely a smart play to pull back and regroup for this next fight.
Absolutely. Still very early in. Dragon Gamer is able to find Rust once again. The background. A barrage comes through for Dragon Gamer, but it is going to get beat. Noob finding the picks themselves. Will they be able to capitalize on that follow-up as Gumball does go down? So does Noob as well. And this Pharah looks really, really, really strong on the side of Rush. Can't say it enough. As a power to the supports, keeping the rest of the team alive while Crouton sort of figures that out. Rush Drake gets picked off there. Sort of caught out in the open by the enemy Pharah.
And we see Dragon Gamer doing a great job even without the Mercy pocket at times of getting value where they should and getting those small picks, not focusing on the tank line, but looking in the back line, trying to pick off the weak targets while their tanks are focused on the rest of them. I think that's just really smart gameplay there from their side.
Dragon Gamer now pushed all the way up into the spawn as Croutons continues trying to find anything they can in order to figure this out. Beautiful combo there, was almost so good from Gumball. It was a very nice chunk of damage with that pull in with the bomb from Quest. Able to find 2. Great stuff coming in from him as they are an introductory player. And Croutons not quite able to fix it out of spawn.
And like you mentioned, it's a really smart play from the side of Quest there, using the bomb to counter Orisa's ultimate, because Orisa's kind of trapped there while that goes off, so she just has to take the bomb essentially. It's a great pick there.
There's the Kitsune path from the side of Penguin, but it is going to get countered by the tire from Supernova. Supernova able to clean up too as Gumball tries their darndest to stay alive. They're able to find Quest, and crazy little combination. They're going to be forcing away the res as well. It doesn't go through, and Croutons do sheer brute force is what I meant to say, are just able to squeeze out victory as 2 ultimates were expended there.
And Gumball with the D.Va swap already paying off. We see they're halfway towards their ultimate, able to get in there quick. It's had several smart plays moving into that. And D.Va can really help to shut down that Pharah. You just use the defense matrix to shut down her ultimate or get in her face with the boosters. I think that's a really smart swap.
Dragon Gamer, so much game since they knew immediately where Biohazard was headed. Able to find them quite quickly. Guy Noob trying their darndest, not quite able to pick it off with that Mercy pocket. Gumball dives deep along with Penguin to try to find any picks they can, but it's just not enough. Liz Pharah being left alive is just an absolute menace. Gumball will be activating both bombs, get traded out. Gumball's able to find Unknown Glass actually on the side of Rush as he tries to stay alive for as long as possible. He's got his supports back. Will they be able to last long enough with him? Croutons climbed up to 60% now. They're putting up one hell of a fight to stay in this thing. As another DMEC comes through as well. Quest getting DMEC. Penguin back on the front lines as the barrage comes through. Gumball not quite there to eat it up, but we'll be able to find Penguin. Croutons trying their darndest to get the flip. They're able to find Gumball eventually. Overtime is ticking down. Will anybody be able to touch? No, they will not. And Rush will be taking Oasis.
Wow, it's an actually absolutely fantastic game there from the side of Rush. And we see Barty playing Mercy the entire time, and Mercy's another character that received several significant changes today. But that didn't seem to phase them as they did an excellent job on Mercy throughout that entire match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even with double hit scan on the enemy team, right? We were able to see uh excuse me, see Barty to pull out that amazing far, constantly stay alive, constantly be doing their role, doing their job, damage boosting their main DPS. And now we're gonna be going off into hybrid, where we have a buttload of new options, a buttload of old options, and I'm quite curious to see exactly how croutons are going to be adapting to Rush's a very aggressive, very, very high damage composition.
Absolutely, and given the comp that's just run on the side of Rush, they really have no reason to switch right now. So what kind of map do you think that the croutons are going to pick in order to try to adjust to that, or what kind of changes do you think they'll make within their own competition or own composition to kind of work to contest that?
I think the swap over to the Diva was very good. We saw a whole lot of good stuff come out of croutons at the very end there, just from the sheer fact that Gumball swapped over to Diva and was keeping in check the enemy DPS, right? Keeping in check that Junkrat, keeping in check that Farah. The best way to negate a DPS's damage is by negating it. You literally just negate it, and that's Diva's one of Diva's main abilities. She has a defense matrix that she can just gobble up that damage, and as long as Gumball can keep doing that and keep doing that effectively as he has been, I think it'll work out really good for them. I just think it was a little too late for Oasis, but honestly, the fact that the change has been made to begin with is exactly where we need to be. As far as Rush, I don't really expect them to be going anywhere. And we're going to be taking Circuit Royale, which is one of the best maps for hit scans, and not a map that Faras can really hide behind. You know what I mean? I was going to be worried if Croutons went like something like Shambali Monastery, which has an infinite number of buildings and an infinite number of places Faras can hide behind. This is exactly what they needed. Circuit Royale, beautifully open, beautifully available to snipe from, could be what they need in order to answer this from Dragon Gamer.
Yeah, absolutely. We're almost guaranteed to see a hit scan from this. Probably maybe a Widow out there, and Ash too, on both sides, but
Oh, hydrate the casters. Oh, I've failed as a caster. I don't have a drink. No chance. I don't have a drink. Oh man. I will I I will tell you this. I will tell you this. Okay, Epi said he'll drink in for me because he does as much work as I do. But I'll tell you this. I owe you whoever did that. I owe you either next match if you're still around or next week. I'll do both. Heck, I'll do both. I'll drink both. Just cover all my bases. I'm sorry. I don't have water. I don't have water. I'm sorry. I
sure.
failed. I failed. I usually do. I promise. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Anyways, so thoughts here on Circuit Royale. Um, very interesting. It's gonna be interesting trying to get through that Farah if you're on the attack, right? You have
I
two
definitely
open
agree.
doors that are super wide open, and you can just keep pumping in damage into those doors. So, definitely interesting to see if they'll be able to get past that one. Any thoughts, strategies? How do you get out of that front door through a Farah?
Honestly, like I mentioned earlier, a Widowmaker, if you're confident if you're with your skills as a Widowmaker, you can kind of sit in one of those doors, peek out, see if you can spot the far, pick her off, or an Ash, just any of the hit scans that you can specialize, a Zenyatta maybe, just to discord that Pharah so can kind of pick her down, especially if Gumball stays on the Diva. Hopefully we'll see them maybe get a Discord on the Pharah. Diva jumps right into her, eats what she can, and then they all work together to pick her off before she's able to get value. And you just really have to work together as a team. It's a lot like Overwatch 1 Bastion, right? In a situation like this, like your team has to work together or you're not going to get past it. Um, so hopefully gonna see a lot of teamwork moving into it, especially if Dragon Gamer stays on that far, which I really think that they will, especially with the first half of this point and for third point, definitely gonna see the far again.
Absolutely, and there's the Bastion you were talking about, sort of crowd controlling that far out of the sky. I also wanted to mention you mentioned teamwork and you mentioned working together as a group, and this is an esports organization. That's the name of the game, right? Working together as a team, coming together with through communications, getting these kids to a point where they're comfortable accepting ideas from each other and adapting quicker than they ever have before, because that will be what leads them to victory. And so I think you were exactly right, exactly spot on with working as a team. I think that's exactly what Tons are going to be looking for if they haven't been already, and they've certainly found a strategy. It's going to be Rush on the attack.
And I think Bastion's a great idea to try to counter this pharmacy. You see, the Bastion's shift ability can easily melt down the farm and the Mercy in one use without really having to get much support there. So I think if they can play it right, it's definitely a good idea.
Nice dive here from Quest as they are able to attack the high ground, get that stun, get that hit scan away from their Pharah. Beautiful tank play there. They're really both tanks doing everything in their power to keep both of their DPS alive. Unfortunately, Unknown Class actually able to pick off Guynoob as Gumball is going to be picking off Dragon Gamer as well. Trades back forth, front and center. Holy bananas! Peter Piper picks back Pickled Peppers. K-West getting Rust as well, and Croutons, they're holding on, but they're going to be forced around this corner as Penguins keeping Gumball alive.
We see Penguin and Biohazard doing a fantastic job of keeping Gumball alive as they push through this. The support playing perfectly, working together there to keep that healing thrown in there to keep the rest of the team of their alive.
There's the window going to be countered by the bomb. Nobody's going to get felled by Dragon Gamer onto the right. Going to be swooping around that window, making sure that they don't get damaged by it. They will eventually be able to find Guynoob on the Bastion, as there's just so much damage coming through. The Immortality Field out to try to keep the rest of the Croutons alive as a bomb gets traded out. Gumball finds 3, including the Pharmacy combo, make that 4, and that is exactly what they needed to hold this corner. Great stuff from him, and they will, with 2.5 minutes on the clock for the attackers.
Just a beautiful bomb there from Gumball. Keeping Rush back, buying more time for the Croutons to get back with their full team. And now we see they're setting up, getting ready to go, ready to fight as Rush moves back in.
Dragon Gamer has the barrage. It's going to be up to Gumball to sort of look for that and to wait for the eat, as that's how you directly counter that ultimate. We have multiple ultimates online. There it is. The eat is going to be there, but not before Penguin gets found. It's a good attempt from Gumball, but it's just not quick enough. Dragon Gamer is going to be finding the help they need to sort of keep alive here, as Guynoob will eventually get found once again. The hit scan is absolutely immense on the side of Croutons, but they're not quite able to find it, and there it is. Once again, Rush find the victory they need, and with 1.5 minutes remaining, they will be close to capturing this first point.
And with Gumball falling there, we see that allows them to capture the first point, move the spawns forward. Give them really sort of a big advantage here for the second point. But the second point has a lot more open sight lines, so I think that the Croutons with the Bastion will be able to get a bit more of a focus on the pharmacy, hopefully.
And there's Dragon able to find Russ as the beautiful Bastion ultimate actually able to find Unknown Class in the backline. Zenyatta not having the greatest mobility, it does get caught out with that ultimate. They're going to follow that up with the Kitsune Rush to sort of take advantage of this. The tire comes through. We'll be able to find anybody. Yeah, we'll be able to find the Immortality Field and Guynoob as well. Dragon Gamer follows that up with the barrage as well, and with multiple ultimates committed from both of these teams, it will be Rush once again finding another pick as Quest gets 3 mech back, and they will be regrouping in full force around the card.
And even after the Gumball stall there, we see him being able to push it even further forward. And Dragon Gamer with another barrage after maybe only 2 fights there, just fantastic ultimate building as they seem to get pick after pick pushing in here.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at how hard Croutons, they're doing a great job, adapting to the situation, trying to go for the hit scan options, trying to find ways of picking off Dragon Gamer. The bomb, not quite able to do it, as Gumball will not get the remake, unfortunately cut out there by Dragon Gamer. Guy was able to trade, though, gets K-West before they fall. Guy gets two. Absolutely massive on the Ash. Barty does get the res. Will they be able to clean it up as well? Penguin using that cleanse to sort of keep themselves alive. Gainu's looking so much.
Already, just recently switched to Ash, but already doing a great job of contesting those sight lines, not allowing the pharmacy to get in where they want to, and just doing a great job of just suppressing them back and keeping that fire down. And we see Rush still able to push in though, as Croutons get ready for this next fight.
Absolutely. There it is. Once again. Oh, it gets taken down immediately by Gainu on the Ash. Like we said, these adaptations, they're absolutely massive from Croutons. If they can keep it up, they could have a very strong fighting chance here. Quest does get demacked as well, so they're going to be a little bit hampered for the time being. Gumball's able to dive on an unknown class thanks to that. And this is beautiful play from the side of Gumball as he's just in the enemy faces, finding that damage, finding those picks. He gets another one despite the Mercy Pocket. And what an absolute machine on this D.Va.
We see just the D.Va versus D.Va battle as Quest is taken out by Gumball here, and Gumball keeps just pushing the advantage further and further, trying to secure more picks just to get more time there for the Croutons, and we see them easily doing it.
Oh my goodness! I mean, it's brutal. Now having that hit scan support from the side of Guy Noob, Gumball's having to worry just a little bit less about that far. We're having to worry a little bit less about that enemy Junkrat, and that's allowing them to really find those purchases on those kills, really being able to find those pushes and get the picks they need for Croutons to be able to hold out here. They have 4 ultimates online, by the way.
Yeah, and we see 2 from the side of Rush as well. We've got the Valkyrie from Barty, and then another tire from Supernova. I'm looking forward to see what they do with them.
Dragon Gamer trying to get caught out here. He gets down to 1, but not before Gainu and Penguin both go down. That's going to mean that Gumball does not have the DPS support with him. Rust able to find Dragon Gamer in the end either way, as well as Bob, very well placed by Gainu, is going to be finding Barty immediately over. And I might have spoke too soon. Rush might be able to fall here as Unknown Clash just barely escaping with their life from the enemy D.Va. They'll be returning to their team.
As we keep pushing through here.
Right around the corner, there's the window for the side of Croutons. Now Gumball is going to have all the healing and DPS in the world to keep him alive. As they continue to hold this corner, they have not given up, even an inch.
Definitely, but we see Dragon Gamer has another barrage ready to go.
There's the barrage. They will be able to pick off one, but not before Biohazard's able to pick off Dragon Gamer in return. The Immortality Field there to keep the rest of the team alive as oh my goodness, Supernova gets down to 1 HP as well. It's just back and forth, ultimates being spent on both sides. There's a Kitsune rush just as I was speaking. Gainu trying his darndest to find the picks he needs. He gets a headshot onto 1, but he's got to stall it out. 2 meters to go. Gumball made it to the point, but the bomb is there. It will be canceling out some of that pressure. Oh my goodness, Gumball fights 3 with the bomb, make that 4 with the reback on a Barty. This man is ridiculous.
And now we're likely moving into what's the last fight as Rush regroups and gets ready to push in here, but we see probably no ultimates on either side are going to be used here. So it's just a complete final dry fight. Rush already rushing right in, getting ready to go.
Rush as Crouton's crew. I don't know if that made a whole lot of sense, but regardless, Gumball doing a hell of a job keeping the rest of his team in there along with the support line and the DPS line, finally putting in the work against the far. There goes. Dragon Gamer gets picked down immediately. Overtime is ticking down. Will they be able to touch in time? There's more damage coming in from either of these teams. It's getting down to the last wire. Oh my goodness, Tiger gets canceled out. Firehouse able to find Barty, which cancels out the res. The D-Mech is almost there for the side of Croutons. Will they be able to hold out for long enough? Dragon Gamer actually does get back. I believe he was resurrected. Overtime ticks down, and it will be Croutons holding on at the last second. Beautiful stuff. Gumball going to be cleaning that up with 2 kills.
That was one of the craziest last fights I think I've ever seen, as it honestly could have gone either way from both teams.
Whew. Uh, I think I think the numbers speak for themselves, my friend. We have 10 grand damage on the side of Gumball, while Dragon Gamer is almost matching that up with 9.7. Um, and realistically, whenever you look at the healing is so even between both these teams that like it's really coming down to just who can stay alive the longest. And with the amount of damage that Gumball is putting out and the amount of HP he's got, he's doing both. He's staying alive the longest and he's doing a buttload of damage.
And like we mentioned, look at the eliminations and final blows from the side of Gumball with 21 eliminations and 15 final blows, to Dragon Gamer with 27 elims and 21 final blows. That 21, the final blows meaning that they finished them off, taking them completely out of the fight until they respawn or able to get back in there. Those final blows being very important, and we see Dragon Gamer doing a great job of securing those on their back line or picking off a DPS every now and then, getting the push back. But we saw the Croutons doing an excellent job from like Biohazard and Guy Noob up on the Ash and Baptiste, doing a really good job of keeping that pharmacy from being able to get a lot of value there in the last bit.
Now it'll be Rush on the defense here. They have that far. We were talking about they have to get through. Croutons have to get through that door, as we mentioned before this match even started. Unknown Class doing a great job at mixing up that healing and that DPS as Guy Noob does eventually get picked off by Dragon Gamer. You've got to be really careful about this. Dragon Gamer picking off 2, make that 3. And, yep, this is exactly what we're talking about. Getting through this far in the open door, it is going to take skill, but Croutons have made the proper switches to deal with this, and I believe in them.
Ooh, another good pick there from Dragon Gamers. Biohazard tries to rush back into the safety of spawn, but what kind of changes do you think the Croutons are going to make before this next fight, if any?
I think Biohazard now swapping over to the Baptiste is a great decision. I believe I just all this hit scan. They're going all hit scan all the way, 110%, and I think that's exactly the direct move. A Gumball dives in deep, tries to buy his team as much space as possible, but you got to be wary of that far in the sky. And it's just Quest getting so much alt charge and Dragon Gamer as well. It's able to pick off Biohazard. Alt bombs traded left, right, front, center. Will pick off
Oh
3
my
once again. Gumball gets the better of the trades there. Quest does get 2, but with that closer spawns as well, this does mean that Croutons are going to finally have the upper hand to push around this corner.
Absolutely great trades there with the ultimates from both sides, but Bruton's going to have a huge spawn advantage coming back. Their whole all 5 of their team will be back long before Rush will, so they should be able to buy quite a bit of space here and get ready for this next fight where they want to take it.
Not only that, but Unknown Class got picked off super late, and you know, great job on them for picking off that carpet. That was a fantastic pick for Croutons. It means the enemy team is going to be staggered now. It means you're not going to have quite as many open chances. Dragon Gamer picks off a 3rd, and as soon as Croutons get an advantage, it's just going to be slipped away by this pharmacy combo. Gumball not quite able to pick it off there, and eventually Croutons will be sent back to the doors.
That was an amazing play there from Dragon Gamer, not hesitating to swing around, get behind their team, and pick off their backline before the front line can even recognize that something's happening. So definitely a very smart play, picking their targets.
You mentioned getting behind the enemy, and I do think that's been an incredibly important distinction because on the previous attack, right? Croutons always knew where that pharmacy was. They were always able to pick it off. They were always able to close down on it as a unit. And now that Dragon Gamer is doing a fantastic job of getting behind the enemy, it's become less of an ability, but eventually Gumball will be able to pick them off. The Kitsune Rush does come through, giving them that extra damage they need to get through that pharmacy combo. We see Quest trying to get that mech back. They will not with a beautiful headshot there. Dragon Gamer gets nano barraged. Eventually Gumball will be able to eat it, but not before 2 go down, and this is Croutons, one of Croutons' chances to actually push through this one full circle. Penguin trying to keep Gumball alive for as long as possible as they try to hunt him down. Gumball's able to find Unknown Class as well. He finds 2. It's a freaking battle of stars, and it's absolutely insane. 30 seconds left and counting as we get around this last corner.
Gumball doing a great job of jumping on enemies as soon as they can and getting that value. So we see Bob thrown out here in a great spot, securing and then a great window there to give Bob the damage boost.
Dragon Gamer getting behind that window, but not before that Bob. Yeah, exactly that Bob window combo. Doing just a beautiful job at taking out the squishies on the side of Rush, and through thick and thin, Croutons will eventually be able to make it through the first checkpoint. Great job on them as they work together as a team. K West does get the mech back, and this does give them an opportunity to hold around this little semicircle here.
And we talk so much about the importance of teamwork there, and we see that being a perfect example of it with those ultimate combos.
Supernova's tire is able to pop Biohazard's immortality, so that's an incredibly important cooldown now burned. Quest able to find two more with the bomb and the remech as well. Beautiful stuff from them. The Battle of Divas has been absolutely immaculate this entire match. Now a minute left on the clock, or 2 minutes, sorry, left on the clock for the side of Croutons as they continue trying to find their way through here.
Absolutely, and we see the divas on both sides, like you mentioned, doing a great job of playing diva exactly how it's supposed to be played.
Eventually, Quest will get burned down. That amazing damage coming in from Gainu, but Dragon Gamer returns it, gets rid of that damage bonus. Oh, beautiful! Dragon Gamer activating the barrage on the Kitsune Rush path. It's a pretty natural counter. It actually works quite well, but Gumball coming in, gets Quest, gets Supernova with the bomb as well. And it's just trades left, right, and center. Rush Drake able to get Dragon Gamer with the death, with the death passive, and Croutons that will actually be able to force their way around this corner. Unknown Class once again last to die.
Yeah, we've seen that from Unknown Class pretty much this whole time, being the last to die, doing an excellent job of staying alive, especially as Ana. That's typically very difficult, especially in a divey type composition like this, and it's truly impressive they're able to last as long as they have been.
Yeah, absolutely. Rush will get one more hold here. Is that beautiful damage? They're going to be putting out so much pressure on the Dragon Gamer to stay alive. Quest gets the nano boost to keep them in the fight as well, but it won't be quite enough. Croutons do an excellent job at target focusing and making sure that they're getting exactly who they need to. Dragon Gamer down to half HP, but Gumball able to dive into the backline, find two as well. Not quite finding the pick off the Quest as they're going to get their mech back. And once again, Rush might be able to hold on here. Dragon Gamer is able to find Rush Drake. The barrage comes through, finds one, might make it two. Yes, it will be. And with 20 seconds left, Croutons have to get together and form one more push.
And they definitely have time for that. If they can get back quick enough, they've got time to reset. Probably
Oh,
without their
there's 5 seconds,
Baptiste,
2 seconds,
however.
1 second. Well, Gumball will be making it time. No, he won. He got pooped away. And Rush will take the map. And we'll take the series 2-0. Uh, Man, Croutons put up one heck of a fight despite being downhill for half of that. We're going to see the play here from Gumball. As pretty much expected, it's going to be one of his incredible bombs, I believe. He's able to pick off Unknown Class, dive immediately towards Dragon Gamer. There it is. Catches everybody out in the open, nothing they can do. Finds four in that play. Through thick
And
and thin. Croutons put up
absolutely.
a fight.
They use the ult there to keep themselves alive, give them, essentially an extra life. But it was still able to get 3K, and we saw that numerous times throughout that match. Really great plays from Gumball and the side of Rush. I mean, there were several players on both teams that just had really excellent plays, did a fantastic job throughout both matches.
Uh, I mean, absolutely. Uh, I do want to say one thing. Quest from the Foundations group did an incredible job for being part of that Foundations group and did a great job at sort of inserting themselves in the team environment. So congratulations to them. We got to talk about Barty and Unknown Class being incredible supports, as well as Barty's combo with Dragon Gamer on the pharmacy. I mean, you just can't say it enough. It was an absolute treasure to behold, and Rush did an incredible job at constantly putting on that pressure. On the flip side of that, though, Croutons, you made the adjustments, you made the team plays, you had the strategies, and you almost pulled it through. Just need a little bit more juice out of you, and you could have seen an entirely different series here today.
Absolutely. And Dragon Gamer with obviously a very, very strong showing there as he played the Pharah the whole time. had no reason to switch. Even though the Croutons did a very good job, especially towards the end of their defensive hold of keeping that there, they just did an excellent job of, like you said, at the beginning of Rush's defense. You saw him just shooting that doorway, and the Croutons have basically one way to go at the start there, and it showed that how difficult it can be to get past something like that when you have one place to go and the defensive side knows it. It's really difficult to be able to get through that without just getting, all kinds of spam shot through that. And we see, I think there was a Junkrat too on the side of Rush at the beginning. And that the Far and Junkrat are two characters that make it really difficult to get anywhere, especially when you have one place to go.
Absolutely. Well, we are going to be going on a quick 5-minute break as we're going to be heading into our second match, which will be Glitch versus Ember. So don't go anywhere. Stick around to figure out exactly how that's going to play out. Once again, my name is Merp. I was joined by Imperium, and we will see you guys in just a few minutes. Alrighty, and we are back. I am Merp, joined by Imperium, and we are going to be bringing you the second match of Glitch versus Ember. Welcome everybody. So, we do have a few minutes before then, though, so it's just going to be kind of a little bit of a relax and chill and chat about Oath, about esports, and about Overwatch. So once again, we'll reintroduce ourselves. How's your day going today, Imperium?
It's been a pretty good day for me, pretty light. I'm a student, but I just only had a couple classes today, so I was able to kind of relax a little bit. I had several really big meetings and actually signed on for a job that I'll have during the summer, my first full-time
Woo!
position. So I'm really excited about that. What
Nice.
about you?
Absolutely nothing in particular. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad nothing chaos is happening. On the front side of Oath, now that we're talking about that, we do have a few things to go over, a few things that are outside of just Oath League as a whole. One of those being our Valorant streams on Thursday. There is a whole nother game, a whole nother world, a whole nother half of Oath, and we are one team, one player, one organization. And so, if you love what we do here in Overwatch, go ahead, slip on over on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time, and you will once again find yourself in a completely different game with a whole list of different kids and a whole list of really, really, really hardworking individuals that work every single week to bring you guys some entertaining games. So, shout out to our Valorant casters, shout out to our Valorant teams, coaches, players. You're all wonderful people. It was a pleasure to meet you, and I'm just glad to have you guys along the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, we unfortunately won't be there, but I can promise that the casters over there are just as much fun and really love to have a good time with Valorant. And it's a fun game too. One that I got into a little bit in the beta, played a little bit back and forth. Have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a different game. It's a bit slower, a bit more paced. If you find Overwatch to be a bit overwhelming, or if you find it to be a lot to handle in a very short amount of time, Valorant's your get-go. It has its highs, but it's got a really nice pace of lows, and our casters are going to keep you well entertained during those low times and incredibly informed during the highs, which I'm hoping we're doing here as well. On the flip side of that as well, Re Oath is the brand new podcast brought to you by Refresh and others, possibly. I don't have too many details myself, but that will be airing on Fridays, I believe at 7 p.m. as well. I might get corrected on that. On Fridays, post all of our matches. It'll just go over Oath, it'll go over our games, it'll go over esports as a whole and what exactly it means. That means for the whole scene, for the whole of Oath, for the whole of anything. Really. So if you'd like to check that out, if you'd like to get another chance to hang out and say hi or possibly ask any questions, that'd probably be a really good time to do that. I was told it was Joe Rogan style, so whatever that means, it'll be. I will be there because I'm sure it will be entertaining nonetheless. Um, yeah, fun stuff.
Absolutely.
Well,
But really excited about this matchup coming up as well. Glitch versus Ember.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Glitch versus Ember. What have we got? We've got a lot of old timers, not really old timers. They've been here for at least a season on these two teams. Few new players squeezed in there, but for the most part, we know exactly what these teams are getting themselves into. Excuse me, I apologize. One of those is that sticks out to me on Glitch is Galactic Rose, who was an incredibly impactful Reaper last season, did an incredible good job at making sure they were always in the faces of the enemy, always getting the picks they need, and was incredibly good at using their ultimates at the right time, at the right place, getting those kills. That's why it's a lot that I remember them because I remember going, holy crap, Galactic Rose just got like a 5K, right? So, fantastic stuff for them. And yeah, I just a lot of these players remind me of a lot of good memories. Oh, another one being Crovoid, incredible Hog player. Now that Hog's nerfed to the ground, we may not get to see quite as much of that, but I know they have a bit more in store. I know that they were a pretty good Reinhardt last season, whenever it came up, and I know that they can also play Sigma, I believe, is also another one that's pretty well established under their belt. What do you think about Glitch?
I definitely agree with you. Glitch has a lot, a few returning players that I'm really excited to see again. We see Mister coming back. But one thing for me is actually on Ember, see Lazy Titan playing again, returning, and then Dapper. I'm really excited to see what they bring out, especially this Lazy Titan. I believe
Yes,
played a
sir.
lot of Reinhardt.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna say it again. I really hope to see some Reinhardt gameplay today after all of the changes that have been made. The diva play in last match was something that was really surprising to me. I know what I said at the beginning, that dive had been kind of swapped, but apparently not for them, and they did an excellent job of proving me wrong there, and that was fun to watch. Really surprising to see, but really exciting to follow along.
Absolutely. And really, we got to talk about what type of dive too, because that wasn't just any old dive. That wasn't your classic season one Overwatch League Winston, Tracer, Genji with Ana and Zen in the backline. That was Ana and Zen were prevalent, yes, but literally everything else about that front line had changed, right? You only have one tank, which makes a big difference. And mainly what we were seeing was Diva. And then in the DPS categories, we saw a lot of burst damage, right? Especially on the side of Rush. You had um, a Pharah Junkrat combo that was an incredibly big impact on the backline of Croutons, as was the previous match that we had beforehand. And what I saw was that if those DPS went unchecked, and we had Croutons make some very important and very crucial adjustments to sort of keep them in check. But if that DPS does go unchecked, it can be quite a deal breaker for the enemy team with the amount of damage that they're able to do in such a short amount of time.
Absolutely, and we talked a lot about the Pharah, but one thing we didn't really mention was the Junkrat play. And with that composition, especially with what the Croutons were running against that, you wouldn't think that Junkrat would be able to get value as much out of that, but we saw they were easily able to get a lot of value, not just in with the spam from the Junkrat uh, shots, but also the tire. We saw numerous tire kills come and play a
Absolutely.
really important part of the getting those picks and winning in those fights. And that was really fun to see, especially against a comp that relies on, sustaining against that damage and being all over the place. Despite that, they were still able to keep them in check and did a fantastic job of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of those big plays from Tyre isn't even the fact that he gets kills. I believe Croutons, for the majority of that match, were running Baptiste because of the hit scan against the enemy Pharah. And Immortality Field is an incredibly important cooldown, one that literally stops you from dying at about 20 to 25 HP, I believe, and keeps your team alive for a solid 6 seconds, regardless of how much damage they take. That is, unless you destroy that immortality field, and with the tire and the amount of splash damage you can do, not only do you bring the entire enemy team down to 20 HP, but you destroy the immortality field too, which essentially nullifies the effect or at least severely negates it, which is a brilliant time to use it. I mean, granted, you'd prefer getting the kills in general, right? Because if the enemy's dead, there's not really a whole lot point in fighting. But getting that amount of burst damage and canceling out such an important cooldown that is so impactful is also an incredibly great play.
Definitely, especially when you've got a Pharah like that, able to swing in and pick off those remaining kills. When they've got 25 health or 25% of their health remaining, like that, it makes it really easy for the Pharah to get those picks. I mean, just shooting anywhere around them is going to finish them off. And we saw that
Absolutely.
several times throughout those last few games.
Absolutely. On the other side, we talked a little bit about glitch players. I want to dive into Ember. Ember is a team that has twice now won grand finals for Oath due to the absolutely crazy leadership that is Chicken Joe. Incredibly nice guy, super impactful, super zen. If you want to meet the real life Zenyatta, you go to Chicken Joe to get a solid example of what that means, or even just meet him in person. Very good at keeping you in the mental, very good at keeping your head straight forward in the match. And even on Ember, we have Pineapple, who I believe she was a very good support last season, and Dapper, I remember being an absolutely incredible Cassidy, which we could see as a very solid counter to any sort of Pharah or burst damage plays that we've been talking about.
Um, One thing you brought up that I don't think we've talked about really before is you talked about the mental of a
Mm,
player, and that's something that's honestly one of the most important aspects of a player in esports or in situations like this. The ability to not get super frustrated and just feel defeated when there's still game time left. And I think the Croutons did an excellent job of that. Like we
excellent.
saw them early on um, getting killed time after time by the Pharah, but still able to work as a team, get past that, not getting shut down. I know that's something that I in the past have been guilty of just feeling like this is an unwinnable game. 3 minutes in, and then probably throwing the rest of my matches, honestly. But they did a
Right.
fantastic job of just being able to get past that, make the changes they need, and we saw them get that stop at the third point of their defensive hold.
Absolutely, and it like it worked out very well for them, especially against however dominant that rush offense was for the very longest of times. And, I've said it again, and I will say it again, that mental, as you mentioned as well, is incredibly important. Not getting tilted halfway through because you are losing is such an important ability, especially in a team-based game, right? If I'm in a team-based game and I have 4 other teammates, if I start flaming my 4 other teammates, that's not gonna help anybody, right? You're angry, so you're not gonna be making the right decisions. You're upsetting your teammates who are trying their hardest to win and trying to win with you, right? And so that brings down the whole morale, and the lower your morale is, the worse decisions you're gonna be making, or the less you're gonna care about winning. We never want that in an esports league or in any video game in general. Why never win, right? Or like why not care about winning, right? But good sportsmanship is also a key factor in these things. And if anyone can turn somebody who is a a rager, like I'll be honest, I'm a rager. If anybody can turn somebody who is a rager into somebody who is not a rager or will take a moment to breathe and actually come back into the game, come back into that sportsman like mentality, it's Chicken Joe. Um, and I just shout out to all of our Oath casters, all of our Oath coaches. I didn't mean to toot my own horn there. Rog C, okay? Listen, Rog C, okay? I mean, if you want to shout us out, that's cool too, but you don't need to. It's fine, it's okay. Regardless, um, we are just about to be getting into our game, so it'll take us a few more minutes, I think, and then we'll finally be able to get in there. But before we get into that, yeah, I just want to talk. I wanted to shout out to all of our coaches who have done an incredible job at at getting our kids into these games, at getting them to learn different strategies, learn teamwork, learn communication, and really that's where you get to show this off here is in Oath League. And so, bravo to all of them. Little claps out to all of them. Thank you guys so much for your time, dedication, and effort. And I can't wait to see what your teams do.
Absolutely. Especially we move back into Oasis for this first map. Looks like
Yeah.
Oasis Knight, but I could be wrong. Um,
Uh, I mean, I'll take it. I like nighttime maps. They're calm, they're cool, collected.
it makes for some interesting kind of swaps skin wise that we'll see sometimes. That's always super frustrating to me. As a Bastion main myself, Genji alone on the other team is automatically super frustrating. But Genji on nighttime maps, especially maps like this, like Oasis with like a black skin or a dark skin equipped, makes it really difficult to see, and it gets really frustrating when they just deflect and I didn't even realize they were there, and then I die and it gets really sad really quickly. But like we talked about, you got to keep that mental up. That's one thing that I struggle with sometimes playing against Genjis, especially is keep the mental up.
Just keep nerfing Genji. Just nerf Genji. Just nerf
I
Genji.
agree,
Nerf Genji.
100%.
Nerf Genji. All right. Well, now we're gonna be moving into our match with Glitch versus Ember. We're gonna be seeing uh, um, few different strategies play out here. We talked about it before. Dive right was the main prevalent one between these previous two teams. However, we are officially in season three. Season three note patches, I believe, have been out today. Is it today or yesterday? One of the two. And Reinhardt got a massive buff, right? Brawl is becoming way more prevalent in the meta already. Fire Strike does 100 damage now, and most 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 characters have 200 HP, so that's an absolutely incredible buff to him. Um, I'm quite happy about that, being a Reinhardt player myself. But um, I'm curious to see if we're going to be stepping away from that dive, as we mentioned before, and moving into that brawl style play style. Considering that Oasis has two maps where brawl does turn out to work very well.
I agree. I think the Reinhardt will come out here on one of the teams. Again, I could be proven wrong, but Reinhardt or Ramatra are really strong on Oasis, especially Reinhardt even before the buffs. So now, hopefully, we'll get to see one. I feel like I'm saying it too much, but I'm just excited to see Reinhardt meta again. Hopefully, he hasn't really been meta since Overwatch 2 came out, so it would be interesting to see how teams will play around that if the buffs prove to be as powerful as some people have stated they would be.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you know, nah, screw it. I love the fact that Reinhardt is busted now. I wish they would keep him like this for at least give me a week, man. Give me 1 week of just obliterating backlines, please. I will happily take it, please and thank you. Of just obliterating my enemy tanks. You know, they made it so that he doesn't push enemies as far. And now, whenever they swing his hammer, which means he's just gonna keep knocking people away constantly. It's. I mean, look, give me a week. Give me 1 week, man. 1 week. I just need 1 week, right? It's like it's like I'm late. I'm late. Ah, man. It's a good time. That's what it is. It's a good time.
Yep. But another character that got a lot of changes that could bring them back into a lot of the play space that we see is Wrecking Ball.
True.
Personally, I'm
Ab
not the biggest fan of Wrecking Ball, but we'll probably see a lot more play. I know I getting to play a few matches today have seen Wrecking Ball more in the last day than I have the last month and a half. So that's interesting. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of him, so I'm not super excited about that. But it is what it is. That's the flow of the Overwatch changes as they come. But that could be another thing we see today on the maps that are a bit more, kind of dive heavy, you have a lot more chokes. So really curious to see how they play around that, if that is brought out. But really excited about this
Absolutely.
matchup.
I I give people grief about Reinhardt having not been meta since Overwatch 2's inception. You know who's been meta for not meta for more time than Reinhardt? It's probably Wrecking Ball. And it's time for him to shine, I think. He's got a minefield now, which he's had a minefield forever, but now that minefield activates almost instantly, making it incredibly difficult to escape, which I think was a fantastic change. Um, I believe they gave him some shield health so that he's not always only armor and he gets a little bit of his health back. I think that was another incredible change for him. And with these changes, we talk about these changes, but the one thing that could keep these changes from coming to complete fruition is the fact that these teams haven't had yet to practice, right, uh with these buffs, with these nerfs, because it's literally come out today is when
Hmm.
it came out. And so if they'd like to give it a chance, if they're just like, we're just gonna throw eggs on a wall and hope one sticks, right? Maybe they'll give it off to the tanks. So, with all that being said, welcome back. We're going to be bringing in Glitch versus Ember on Oasis. And this we're going to be starting on a map that is very oh, possibly not. We have to start the game first before we end up setting ourselves up. Okay, there we go. We're going to be starting on a map that is incredibly brawl intensive. And as you mentioned, Lazy Titan oh goodness, I almost dropped something. Titan and Funtime Cold, both incredible Reinhardt players, and it'll be. I really want to see it. I'm praying to see it. As we get into the map, incredibly good brawl composition, brawl map, uh, and yeah, fun stuff.
But if they don't bring out the Reinhardt, what do you think you'll see here?
Ready for battle.
Uh, I mean, we're seeing it right now. Lazy Titans on the ball. And Funtime Cold's on the Ramatra. Interesting. I'm curious because this is going to be a very weird matchup, right? Ramatra is one of those that I mean, they both do relatively the same thing. They both chase up to the back line. They both get the kills after a little bit. But I feel like the one that does the more damage is Ramatra, and so you're gonna have to kind of compensate for that a little bit as both these teams roll out here.
I would agree, but I'm really loving the comp on Ember's side here. We see the Mercy Kiriko with the Bastion Soldier. That's a lot of damage. I think that could easily make up for Ramatra's extra damage.
There's the cleanse already burned through from the side of Glitch as or yeah, from the side of Glitch as Dapper's gonna be finding the first pick there. Beautiful stuff. Gonna be finding two now as they're gonna be diving on the point. Gonna be finding the first capture as well, and eventually Pressure will be finding Catitude, and the Glitch will be forced off the point as Ember first.
There we go. Now we see Ember move into a better position and Glitch getting ready for this next fight. I'm really loving the Bastion Soldier kind of combo with the Mercy Pocket. That's a lot of damage and it's going to be really difficult for Glitch to get through. But I think the Ramatra with Funtime Cold can easily do that. I'm really excited to see what they're able to do to get around this much damage being thrown at them.
Bastion is certainly one monster you don't want to trifle with. Lazy Titan's going to be Dapper's going to find Catitude in the backline once again. The minefield's already out, sort of keeping Glitch from finding their way out of the sticky situation. Beautiful power drive there from Lazy Titan. Going to be finding four, going to be knocking the entirety of Glitch down. Will anybody be able to pick off the rest? Pro Void trying their darndest, but Lazy Titan on going to be finding the two more picks, and they will once again be going the side of Ember. For the second fight win at 60% and counting.
And Lazy Titan on the Wrecking Ball doing a great job of kicking up targets, giving their DPS a bit more space, distracting the enemy, allowing that immense amounts of damage from those characters to be able to get thrown at while they're distracted. And we've seen several early on picks from that have be a lot of power thrown in there in such an early part of the fight.
What I'm seeing is a very there's the Bastion ultimate going to be knocking right onto this Kitsune Rush. Nobody's going to get caught up by it, but it is going to be a lot of damage towards the backline. Pro Void is getting down low as well as Galactic Rose. Will they be able to find the fix they need? There's the ultimate from Funtime Cold. It doesn't last forever now. They're not going to be able to burn through the Bastion with that Mercy Pocket. They do get down low, but Glitch not finding any picks. Pro Void does find one, but Lazy Titan in the backline finding those beautiful power drives consistently, one after the other, even body blocking the Mercy res. Incredible as overtime ticks down. Will anybody be able to touch? We see a tank swap over here. This Funtime Cold on the Wrecking Ball does get body blocked away, and they will not be able to touch in time. Beautiful start from the side of Ember.
Absolutely. And we see another change of Wrecking Balls that was made was a decrease in the time that Pile Driver takes to be ready to go again. We see it drop from 10 seconds, now it only takes 8 seconds before they're able to just get right out of there and move back in.
I'm not seeing a swap from Funtime Cold just yet off back onto the Ramatra, and I think they've sort of realized now that Ball is incredibly strong, as you can see from just the damage numbers from Lazy Titan in general. But Dapper, as well as just leading the charges around the Soldier, doing an incredible job with those mechanics, finding 3.5 thousand damage already, and we're only at least halfway through this match, or through this particular round.
A really impressive amount of damage from both EPS there, but as we mentioned, it's really difficult to get around that much damage without a tank that can absorb or block that damage. See, Orisa now from Funtime Cold, I think could do a really great job of using her E ability to block some of that damage and take some of that space.
Yeah, absolutely. Galactic Rose able to find pressure in the backline. Pressure gets pressured, and they get resurrected, and they're going to be fighting Galactic Rose right back. It's a revenge story going on right now, as another Lazy Titan supporting their team from the top, not letting Mr. get all the picks they need. And once again, Ember doing a beautiful job here. One thing I will note is we're seeing this beautiful combination of pile drive into Bastion mech, right? So you
Yeah.
get a pile drive from Lazy Titan into the odd nugget Bastion mech, and it just does so much damage, and nobody can run away from it, right? It's an absolutely incredible combination, and Ember's doing a great job at executing it.
Absolutely, and it's one that hasn't really been seen up to this point. I know I honestly have never considered it, but it's really interesting and lead to a lot of damage.
There it is once again, another four-man pile driver in the back line as Lazy Titan just racking up the damage. Funtime Colt's able to find pressure once again onto the back line as well, as they have swapped over to the Sigma. Crovoid trying to dive in, is not able to find Onak, who is down to 1 HP. Will they be able to clean it up? No, they will not quite yet, as Funtime Cold continues trying to put up that damage pressure. 55% and counting. This fight's lasting quite a while, and Dapper is still alive, putting up that damage. Almost has the attack visor. Will he be able to use it? There is the minefield from the side of Lazy Titan. Attack visor comes through as well. It will be 3-2 going down. Make that 3 as Catitude also falls. And Glitch, so close to pulling it back down at 70% and counting, are just not able to.
I think the Sigma swap from Funtime Cold is a really good idea and a really solid plan. Sigma has both the shield and the black hole ability that kind of absorbs all that damage, so that will hopefully work to negate some of Ember's deal as Glitch moves back into here for this next fight.
There's a Kitsune Rush going to be leading directly through the hallway, but it will be returned on the side of Ember. As they're going to continue pressing forward here. Dapper's going to clean up too with very solid mechanics. Funtime Cold activates the Flux. Going to be hunting for that Bastion, but it's just not enough. That armor keeping him alive for so long. Dapper will eventually go through. Will they be able to get the resurrection out of this? As Lazy Titan continues dominating the backline of Glitch. He's able to find two with an absolutely beautiful rollout there. Funtime Cold searching for anything he can get, but overtime is ticking down. Glitch is trying their darndest to stay on this point, to continue putting up pressure for as long as they can. We now have a Lucio stall from Mr. Mister. He will get caught out. Overtime will tick down, and it will be Ember taking the first map.
There's a great plays there from Ember, all around on all three sides. You got the support doing a great job of keeping their damage healed up and keeping the damage boost on them, and it's just been really amazing there. We see the play of the game from Dapper.
There we go. There it is. One. Make that two, maybe. As it was on the play is there. He does get two, but honestly, a really good follow up on the damage done by Lazy Titan there. Beautiful. I mean, beautiful rollouts. Just constantly Lazy Titan. Having what I would assume being a lot of experience, considering the amount of value they're just getting out of these pile drives on that wrecking ball. And now it's gonna be Glitch with the map choice for our second map. I mean, crazy, right? That Ember just comes out absolutely swinging on this brand new composition.
Absolutely, like we talked about, this came out literally this morning. And Wrecking Ball really hasn't been played much at all in Overwatch 2 up until this point. So for Lazy Titan to be able to bring out the Wrecking Ball just like that, um, and bring it out, it makes for a really impressive showing there as they were able to push through all of it, get that damage they needed, and make space for their DPS to just push through there. We saw amazing plays from their side. We saw a great job on the supports, keeping them alive and helping the Wrecking Ball get that value. And it's just an all around great showing from Ember, but Glitch as well, having several really good plays and really good players moving through that.
Absolutely. I mean, you you gotta give them credit for trying to push through it. They did successfully a few times. They were able to make those adjustments, like we've been talking about, make the adjustments necessary to really pull themselves ahead. As we had that Sigma swap, right? We had that Sigma swap from Funtime Cold. Usually, whenever you're using Sigma to sort of counter a ball, you're going to be looking for that rock to negate the power drive. You're going to be looking for that rock to negate the swing in from the ball and really
Hmm.
negate a very large majority of their damage and their impact as a character. And while it wasn't quite enough, I always say, and I will continue to say, that if you've got the idea to adapt, continue to adapt and continue to try to find ways to win because that's how you win, right? Keeping your mental in the game, finding ways to win, continue pushing through. Uh, and it ain't over until a certain someone sings.
And we saw the Genji swap there from Crovoid too really helped them with deflect, kind of negate some of that damage, send it back into them, help them gain a little more space, especially when working together with the Sigma. I think it was great swap there, really smart plays. I think in a less brawl intensive map, they probably would have had a lot more of the ability to get through there. And I'm really excited to see what their map pick for this next one will be and see what they do with it.
Let's see. Something where ball probably can't just run away, I imagine. We're gonna be having our options are let's see. Junkertown, Shambali Monastery, Circuit Royale, and Rialto. I'd probably go for Rialto here personally, or Shambali Monastery. Shambali Monastery is a very uphill fight, which means if you got a ball coming from downhill, they're going to be a little bit at a disadvantage because they have to work their way up, right? And when they do commit downhill, they have to commit downhill.
Hmm.
You can't be trying to go back to your team because your team's on a completely different elevation comparatively, right? So, got to be really smart with how you play ball in Shambali Monastery. I would assume.
I would definitely agree. That would be a smart pick. But Rialto, like you said, doesn't really give Ball many opportunities. Once you get past that first corner, they don't have
Mhm.
a ton of space to move and grab hook onto and get out of there.
Mhm.
But the same could be said if we brought back Circuit for the second map once again. Just like in first point, I think Circuit could give a lot of open opportunities once you get past that. The entire second point, however, would be tricky on
True.
third point to avoid a bit of that.
It would be funny if you had the ball like there's a little window that looks down on first point from second point, and you could have a ball technically boop somebody through that window and basically knock them out of the fight for about 10 to 15 seconds. I think it'd be a rather amusing and smart way to use balls grapple if it were able to be pulled off.
I agree.
So that would be I think that would be really what makes the second push, post second point push, kind of a big pain in the butt. Um, as you just have a ball that's just dancing everywhere, right? And there's so many obstacles in the way too on second point. There's so many buildings in the way. There's a whole runway he can just escape from, right? If he just
Mhm.
goes on the left lane, it's like you're driving in in America. You hug the right lane the whole time. You never get found.
And, uh, one thing you kinda convinced me there on Shambali, I think Shambali could be really good as well for kind of allowing them to focus on the brawl without ball
Mm.
being so much of a problem, right? So they can dedicate on tanks they wanna play, but not have to worry about what the other team's gonna play. But it's looking like we are going with Circuit Royale.
Yeah, and I do think this is a pretty smart decision. As we mentioned, this is going to be we're going to be looking at daytime circuit royale. So we're getting a little bit of swap on the times of day. So if you want to know what the other maps look like, what the same maps look like but different daytimes, check out last match. So we're going to be going into daytime circuit royale, and it'll be a fun time to go. So yeah, one of the big things about circuit royale that uh makes it such a difficult time for ball is you've got high ground that you have to access, and then if you access that high ground, you kind of have to commit to it. It's the exact actually, it's pretty similar to Shabali in that way, right? And that's a new sort of principle they've been going with these new Overwatch maps is if you're gonna go to the high ground, you gotta commit to the high ground, or
Mhm.
else you're just gonna go up there for 2 seconds, do nothing, and then either die or barely manage to escape, right? So,
Yeah.
um,
And again, the open sight lines from Circuit here makes it really difficult for Ball to be able to sneak into a team. They're going to have to come the long way or come right through the open side. And I think that gives the DPS on both sides really big opportunities here to get a bit more damage in, maybe secure an extra pick. We see Galactic Rose on the Widowmaker right now. I think that could be a really good opportunity here to maybe get rid of one of the DPS on Ember, like make an early pick, and then they're gonna have to wait for him. So there's definitely a lot of exciting play that can come out of this. But we see on the side of Ember, we see the Bastion Soldier again, which I think that's really fantastic, especially Bastion here on Circuit Royale. On the attack, it makes it a little bit easier when you have a lot of that damage output from his shift ability. Makes it a little bit easier to push through. So I'm just excited to see what both teams bring out here.
The biggest issue for Galactic Rose is going to be that ball, but as long as everybody gets the picks they need, it may not matter in the end. Lazy Titan already going to get a pretty nice dive in there. King Bleach going to be able to find Galactic Rose and is very well placed. Bastion Bomb there, actually. Lazy Titan's going to take that signal, go and dive in deep. Finding more and more damage as Crowboy gets kind of caught out of position. He will be able to retreat back to the rest of his team as they're being kind of held close here along the corner. But I'm cold, not quite able to make it out alive as well as Crowboy gets found as well. That Bastion absolutely truing through this hallway of a defense, finding 4. Beautiful stuff there. There's 3.5 minutes on the clock already heading on this first corner.
Absolutely amazing. We see Bastion there in the gingerbread skin rolling through. Like I said, his immense amounts of damage in such a short time, that kind of burst down work that he does, makes it a lot easier to get past the first point, especially with characters that specialize in kind of, bunkering down and securing a spot. So I think that was definitely a very smart play there.
Absolutely. As we're going to be seeing a nice dive here from the side of Crowboy. We'll be able to find the anti-native target. No, he won't. They will get cleansed. He's going to continue trying, but it may just not be enough. Pressures is able to pick him off as Glitch continue trying to hold on so deeply to this first point. Funtime Cold will be forced back, and it will be Ember just continuing to press forward here with so much strength and coordination. Pressures finds another pick. That Kiriko doing a whole lot of work on the DPS side.
Absolutely. We see Pressure has had several great picks there to secure him off. And now they're a little bit staggered now, right? They're having to take a little bit of extra time just to get 5 again, so they're having to back up as much as they can, wait for their full 5 team. And Lazy Titan the whole time doing a great job of just running in and taking what space they can, getting the value that he can right before then. And we see they're finally moving in for a full 5v5 fight.
He gets anti-nated and then cleansed immediately. His supports are there to keep him alive, and they're there to make him stay. Beautiful play there from Lazy Titan, diving in, making sure that Glitch never got the opportunity to sort of find that moment to defend. And already, like you mentioned, Ember continuing to push forward here. They hardly get contested as they capture the second point. And now Glitch put on the back foot. Now there's 5.5 minutes, and this has to be one darn defense in order to make it through here.
It does have to be pretty amazing, but we see 5 ultimates almost coming from the side of Glitch. So we see 4, and then with Kiriko being 75% of the way there, we could easily see multiple ultimates come out this next fight. But we also have 2 on the side of Ember ready to go.
As we push around the corner, once again, that anti-nade is such a smart decision to counter the ball, but the cleanse there constantly. Just cleaning it up. Beautiful placement both of them. As we're going to see Crowboy with the nano blade. You don't see this a whole lot, but he's able to peek off too. King Bleach, though, left alive, going to be picking up the rest of the backline as Pineapple and Pineapple gets the res onto Pressures. Undoing a little bit of Crowboy's work. He's trying as hard as he can to sort of stay alive. He's able to get 1, but it's just not going to be enough. And finally, Ember's going to be pushing around this last corner.
We see Pressure there with the damage boost on Pineapple on the Mercy, getting 2 headshots back to back, and that's a lot of damage. Kiriko does so much headshot damage. We see her just picking off those 2, getting those picks, giving Ember the time to come back through.
Beautiful flux there from Funtime Cold. Gonna be able to find 1. A second one gets picked up by Galactic Rose. Pineapple does go down. Possibly in search of a resurrection. And Lazy Titan will know well enough to sort of run away. However, Kaiju gets picked off. The Bastion ultimate found there. And if Embers is able to collect themselves quick enough, they might be able to push on that. They will regroup around this corner here. Pressures finds the headshot on the Galactic Rose. Typically it's the hit scan that finds the support, but this time it'll be Pressures showing that they mean business. Good thing Cleanse is used. The anti-nade not quite canceled out. Crowvoid is going to take that opportunity to sort of dive into the back line. Finds 2 Pressures. Finds another headshot. The Kiriko getting the headshot cannot be stopped. Pineapple gets the resurrection on to Dapper, and this could be exactly what Ember need to sort of clean this the rest of the way. Pressures. So many headshots. He's just insane. It's a DPS support right now. Finds another pick. That might be the 4th or 5th one of the match. Will it make it 5? It will make it 5. As well as Lazy Titan causing absolute chaos on the point. 1 meter left to go. Will anybody be able to clean this up? Galactic Rose once again picked off. It's not even a break. They're stringing on for dear life right now. Krovo gets picked, and eventually Ember will be able to clean it up.
Oh my gosh, what a fantastic play from pressure. I counted 7 kills in that last fight alone as Glitch kept coming back out, trying to get back in that fight. But Pressure just jumping on him, getting headshot after headshot, running through there, securing those picks. As we can look here at the damage coming from Pressure having damage rivaling the DPS on both sides. Truly impressive play there.
You don't see it very often. I mean, you really don't. And actually putting out a decent chunk of support for the amount of damage that they were doing. I mean, if you look at the eliminations, yeah, you were right. Rivaling that of the DPS on their team, bar none. Even getting a little bit more eliminations than Dapper. Dapper is a perfectly fine DPS, so that just goes to show you the amount of performance Pressures is putting on this Kiriko. On the side of Glitch, we have seen some amazing plays coming out from Crowvoid and Funtime Cold, trying to cancel out the ball, trying to dive in the backline. The swap for Mr. with an anti-nade has done an incredible job at trying to find the picks that Glitch is needed, and they're just not quite there. But the idea is there, and the execution is happening. Just not quite as much as they would like.
Absolutely, and we see, that great play from Mr. nanoing Crowvoid for the Nano Blade, letting them get 3 kills there. I mean, just great plays like that, slowly whittling them down. That's what you got to focus on, like you said.
It will be a ball versus ball matchup. This Funtime Cold, it does end up rolling out onto it. They've realized that the ball is just so strong here on the attack. Pile drive, absolutely massive. Going to be continuously diving in, getting 4. And it's a race against who can get their ultimate fastest, who can dive quicker.
Absolutely, it's anyone's game right now, honestly, as both teams working to get one pick just to put their own team at an advantage.
Beautiful power drives once again, and actually asleep on the Lazy Titan. Mr. doing an excellent job trying to keep the enemy ball from doing anything. And they're doing a great job at it. Galactic Rose is able to find pressures. Will get snuffed out by Lazy Titan. Galactic Rose does get sniffed out there by Lazy Titan. And once again, it's a chaotic fight as the Bastion sits on top of the point. Nobody's able to push away the enemy.
Exactly, we see Funtime Cold doing a great job of just keeping them distracted, allowing them to get the rest of their team in there so they can keep pushing forward and taking space, doing a fantastic job of just doing just that, taking the space they need for the rest of their team to get up there and get the value they need from their team.
I love the idea of this Reaper swap from the side of Crowvoid. An amazing ball counter because ball is just one giant hitbox. And if you're able to play around the turret, can be also incredible against an enemy Bastion. This could be a very, very solid and impactful pick here from the side of Crowvoid as Glitch continues trying to push through here. But Ember's just not having it. They activate the tactical visor. They're able to get 3 into the backline. Electric Rose is able to find one with a Venom Mine. Surprisingly, you don't see that a whole lot. And Glitch once again sent back to the spawn doors.
And we see Glitch does have the spawn advantage here, so every one pick is just great as they want to move into the next fight because they can get another pick and another pick. That's what's going to give them the advantage to move in and keep pushing that point.
We do have, I believe it's 1 more minute on the clock as Glitch is giving everything they've got to dive into this, to find those picks, to get that backline finish. Electric Rose trying to find a good angle, but just not able to. Lazy Titan is a beautiful mine. Gonna be finding Catitude in the backline as well as time continues ticking down. And it's just not quite enough coming in from Glitch. Death Blossom.
A good chance to see a Death Blossom coming up soon.
Might not be activated here. Yeah, he gets down very low. Dapper's able to clean him up. And this is another reset here for the side of Glitch.
We see several ultimates coming online for Glitch, but Ember holding on to the 2 they have right now. They've got Artillery Strike from the Bastion and then the Kiriko Rush ready through both, super useful ultimates and can really change the turn of the game here.
The Continuing Rush comes through. It's going to be comboed with the Death Blossom, but it's not going to be enough. Holy bananas! The absolute focus from the side of Ember. They're doing an incredible job at focusing down exactly who they need to. Funtime Cold finds 3. Galactic Rose able to find Dapper as well as the mines get plopped through. Ember not quite realizing that they were going to be quite so close behind them. It is now a ball Kiriko 1v1 or 2v2 right now going on. And actually, Glitch will find some progress as Pressures and Lazy Titan will fall back.
What an amazing play there from Glitch, getting those elims and using that spawn advantage just to secure that extra bit of space. But Pressure doing a fantastic job of keep securing those elims and working with their tank to keep them alive.
All the DPS ultimates coming out online now. Dapper's able to clean up too as King Bleach is going to be fighting Kaitude as well. And I just want to point out that Pressures has such strong game sense. Overtime is ticking down. Will one person be able to touch? Oh, not quite in time. And it will be Ember taking it, taking the match.
It was a
Uh,
really fun game to watch there. Um, Definitely great play of the game. Can assure you from Pressure.
There's one pick. And it's so many. I mean, Pressure just had some insane headshot capabilities this entire game. And like I said, you don't see that a lot in support, but there's 3 picks right there in this play. We might get to see the 4th. No, we don't, but there was a 4th. And um crazy. I mean crazy. Ember have one of the best mental coaches in the game and have crazy mechanics. I think they're going to be one of the scarier teams we're going to be seeing all season.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I know it's the first match, but already we can see super powerful showings from several other players. But one I'd really like to highlight again, Pressure doing an excellent job. As a support player, you see the amount of damage coming from that, especially as a Kiriko or a Zenyatta. That's essentially like having, a third DPS. With also, if you can also get the
Yeah.
same amount of healing as you would regularly, that's really hard to fight when basically it's almost like 6v5 again when they've got 3 people doing an insane amount of damage and healing at the same time. Like it's really impressive. But we see Dapper on the soldier the whole time, several super amazing visors, getting a lot of value from those. King Bleach on the Bastion doing a great job of using that shift,
Oh
transforming
yeah.
into that
Oh yeah.
turret, blowing them down. Just did really good. And Lazy Titan on the ball, making space. But Funtime Cold there on the ball on the attack also had several amazing plays. And it was really impressive to see, the roll again, buying
Mhm.
time, making space for their team, letting the rest of their team get there, take some of that space, getting really good value. And then, like you said, that Reaper switch, very good, very fun to see. Smart play by all of them, and it was just a
Mhm.
super fun match to watch.
Just not quite enough. And I will say to both teams that lost tonight, you have clearly the adaptive power. You both made excellent decisions. Glitch, you came out, you made swaps, you realized something wasn't working, and you had the ability to sort of try to counter Ember. Even though it wasn't quite enough to secure a victory today, that doesn't mean that with a little bit more practice and now that you know exactly what you need to be focusing on with the new patch, that you won't come out stronger than ever next week. And I do genuinely believe that, considering the fact that you all have incredible players, a great sense of teamwork with the amount of swaps and attempts to counter the enemy that I saw today. I would not be surprised. I mean, I said Ember should be one of the scary teams we see today, but I wouldn't be surprised if either if Glitch returns one day to run them for their money. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And like you said, one thing that we saw from the teams that lost that wasn't shown as much in the teams that won, that was really interesting to me, was the teamwork. We saw the Croutons in the first match and then Glitch in the second. Both have great team-based plays several times throughout the match. And that was really impressive to see, like we talked about the mental, especially from a losing team, to still be able to work as a team, make those necessary plays, and get some really good kills out of it or eliminations or take the space, do what you need to do with while working as those teams. It just shows a lot towards the maturity of the players and kind of the great mentality that goes into a lot of that.
Teamwork makes the dream work, my friend. And well, speaking of teamwork, I'm glad to have had you here today. I'm glad to have Epi in the back in the behind the scenes, and I was really glad to be able to get to cast the first ever match of our 2023 spring season. With that, it will be coming to a close. Thank you guys so much for coming out and supporting our kids. Thank you so much for showing up and really giving us good sportsmanship. These games were incredible. They will continue to be incredible as the season goes on. Don't forget to check out Valorant on Thursdays and the new Oath podcast on Fridays. They'll all be streamed, I believe, on this channel. And we will see you guys next week.